friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we're going to do a little bit of kind of like a day in the life here at Creekside, following us around. We've got a couple of things going on as always, but first we're going to start here at the nursery and show you some great plants, show you some fun things that can easily handle these cold temperatures, because remember, North Carolina, zone 7B, fall is the perfect time to be getting your perennials, your shrubs, and your trees into the ground. We have already had 2 nights of a freeze, and then last night we had yet another frost. So we're going to talk about some great plants. Then we're going to give you an update on the fence at the berm. It is almost complete. Hopefully we can get it done today so we can show you the finished product. We have trusses being delivered for the new building up at production. We're going to show you that as well. So just a lot of things here and there, and then of course you never know what's really going to happen around here. So here at the nursery, talking about plants. Remember, we planted up the water trough with some trees and some shrubs and then some ornamental annuals. This will last me all the way through the spring. I have got the Thuja Green Giants. These are very much a temporary plant here, but they give me structure. Ultimately, they can get like 30 feet tall and 20 feet wide each. Then we have the Fire Chiefs. These are an arborvitae, and so they are showing gorgeous color. That's why they called Fire Chiefs, because you will see they're starting to take on that kind of that bronzy look. Deep down in, they're still bright green. They're not dying. This is just the color that they turn. But what's really fun is, notice we've had 2 freezes and a frost. Right now it's still somewhere in the 30s. Look at these violas. They are so happy. They can handle those cold temperatures. This is why we love having the pansies and violas here in the South, because they are the only annual flower that will continue to give us color throughout the entire fall, winter, and into spring. That's why we use them so much. Look at the color that this kale is turning. That's because of the cold temperatures. Gorgeous, beautiful, kind of that rosy pink center to them. Obviously, I have 3 of them planted right there. They're going to continue to grow and get big and show that gorgeous color. And then look, this is the peacock white kale. Again, that white center because of the cold temperatures. So when I planted these kales, they were just green. Cool temperatures make them turn colors, so this is just going to grow and develop as the season progresses. A couple of things going on down here on the shrub lot. One plant that I don't think we talk about enough, but it is one of my absolute favorite evergreen shrubs for us Southerners. There's 2 of them. They're pairs. It's yin and yang viburnum. So there's a yin, then there's a yang. Honestly, I can't tell the 2 apart. And so you can plant them together. You can plant just yin, you can plant just yang. But what happens is when you plant them together, you can get little blue berries on them. They are an evergreen viburnum here in the South. You can see that the stems have a little bit of like a reddish color to them. Nice, gorgeous green leaves. I have a yin and I have a yang right off of the patio at the house, and I love these plants. They are just amazing. Let me give you some specs on them. They're going to be hardy in zones 7B to 9, and basically they're going to be wider than they are tall. So if you're looking for like a different foundation plant, when we say foundation plant, we just mean like up against your house, that is an evergreen, you really might want to consider yin and yang viburnum. We will be adding these to the new berm because they just give me gorgeous structure, low maintenance. I've never pruned mine. Bugs have not liked them. I mean, literally, I planted it and forgot about them, and they are stunning. So there's lots more, of course. They've got the Fire Chiefs that I just showed you. We've got those available. There's all sorts of different shrubs, whether you want evergreen or deciduous or spring flowering, it doesn't matter. Now is a wonderful time to get them in the ground. Really, all the way, because we're in North Carolina, our ground never freezes. So that means we can pretty much plant year round. Now, what I do find interesting is we've had those 2 freezes, frost, but yet these hibiscus over here, act like nothing has happened. Like, I think if you can kind of see, there's even a little bit of frost on top of these mums, but these guys are still rocking out. It just kills me. There's even one that has a bloom on it over there. This is the evening rose. They have just been spectacular this year. Super excited about those. We do still have lots of beautiful mums. Now the purple ones, they're kind of on their way out. Like, they've been fully bloomed and, you know, they're on their way out. But we have got plenty of them that are still what we call just cracking color. I love this orange. Is that not gorgeous? It's kind of a rusty, has a little bit of a reddish, but as it opens up, it will be more orange. This is about where you want to buy your mums. You can clearly see what color they're gonna be, but they still have lots of buds on them. And that means that your time that you get to enjoy them is extended. So mums are available. You can see there's yellows down there. There's whites over here behind Jerry. Now, we're gonna come in the greenhouse. The heat is on, so it's nice and warm and toasty in here. So if you hear something kind of buzzing, that's just the heat and the fans. But I do want to share with you a couple of things, and hopefully the camera won't fog up. It may take a minute. So if I get cloudy, we'll just say that's a cinematographic, you know, effect. It'll be fine here in just a minute. But look at all of the gorgeous yellow with those mums, the ones that are still cracking color. So you can see this Ms. America mustard. Like, look how gorgeous it is popping up above these pansies. So I have used this in several different arrangements at the house. Freeze, frost, it does not matter. It can handle it because it is a cool weather annual and doing just spectacular. Now, there is something that I want to share with you, because if you've been watching some of our my latest projects going on in the backyard, I've shared with you that we have the mangaves. They were in a pot within a pot in the ground, right? So because of the freeze and the frost, we have moved them. We took them out and brought them into the greenhouse. So you can see there are 4 of them that were in the ground, and we just lifted them out. We only had one where both pots came out, but can you see how vigorous those roots are? My goodness, these suckers have grown like crazy just this summer. They were a 1-gallon plant when Walters gave them to us. My mom and I moved them up to a 3-gallon. Look at that Aztec King. Is that not just one of the most spectacular things you have ever seen? So what's really fun is we have these mangaves that you can see what they look like full size. We also have them as babies. So this is Aztec King, which is the exact same plant that Jerry just showed you. This is one that we got as little like plugs, little babies, this late spring, potted them up. And this is, they have clearly grown a lot this year because they have, their roots are coming out. So these are ready to be moved up to the next size. As long as you continue to move your mangaves up to the next size, they get large. The time difference between this plant and the large king is about 2 years, and that's it. If even 2 years. So just, I mean, like, look at that difference. I mean, just gorgeous. Now, when we were trying to move them, we were talking about, now what in the world are we going to do next year? Because these are in 3-gallon pots. Are we going to move them up to like a 5 or a 7? Probably not, because if you keep them in the container, then they will stay that size. So we have lots of options. I just wanted to show them to you so you can see how a mangave looks as it matures. So we have all of the mangaves inside. They do not do well outdoors, not these. Some of them are cold tolerant for us. I don't have any of those right now just because of the way that things were ordered. But they make great house plants. I had potted up a couple of these in like small terracotta pots. I brought those into the house, so we'll overwinter them in the house. But if you don't want to bring, like if you had a bigger one, you can just put it in your garage. As long as it just doesn't get those super cold temperatures, then you're fine. But yeah, mangaves, I would really encourage you to come check them out. if you have a friend that loves plants and kind of has a little bit of everything, I bet they don't have mangaves. So that would be a really great little gift to give them. Is there anything else down here we want to talk about, Jerry? He doesn't think so. It's still kind of early in the morning. We were trying to get this part of the tour done before customers come. But anyway, all right, so I think what we're going to do is go ahead and get started working on the fence. Like I said, I know we're going to be working on the fence. We have one little section left to complete. The trusses are coming, so I don't know what order or how the day is going to go, but we're going to bring you along for the ride. So just sit back and relax and have some fun with us. Okay, my friends, so we had a little bit of time between when we just saw each other at the nursery and when the trusses have gotten delivered. We're almost done with the fence, so we'll take you to the fence in a little bit, but the trusses did arrive, so we thought we would stop while we had the opportunity and show you these things. They certainly are impressive. So these are obviously like pre-made, prefab trusses that are going to support the whole roof structure of the production building. They made it for our specifications, right? So they made it to the size and the slope and everything that we needed. There are 40 of these babies in here because they are going to be set apart by 2 feet. So every 2 feet will have a truss. So nice and sturdy and really well structured for the roof. So we're going to kind of whip around here on the back side so we can kind of show you how Jerry and the fellas and everybody is going to get these things installed. Jerry's walking backwards trying to tiptoe around trusses and not get fall in a hole. If you remember, this area is a 22 by 78. So it is 22 feet wide and it'll be 78 feet long, hence why we have 40, so every 2 feet. So what they're going to do is, and we will show you this whole process, I'm just giving you the big overall picture, right? So come over here, each of these 6 by 6 by 16s, yes. So it's a 6 by 6, 16 feet tall. Each one of them all the way down has a blue chalk line on it. The concrete guys put that blue line there because at where that blue line is, that is where the concrete is going to be. So what they're going to do is they're going to measure from the blue line up to the ceiling height. I don't know if they've determined what the ceiling height is going to be yet, so we're just going to say whatever the ceiling height is. Then they are going to basically top off all the 6 by 6s to make them all the same height, and then they're going to notch out, will the notch be on this side or the back side? Back. The back side. So basically they're going to take a notch and notch out, so you're still going to have the post, and then you'll have like a little shelf right here, right? And then they're going to have the 2 by 10s, and they're going to take 2 of them, sandwich them together, and then have them running. So that's what's going to, the 2 by 10s are actually going to connect each of these 6 by 6s all the way down. So that will be the border that holds all these together, and then that is what the trusses will sit on. So they will do it both on this side, and then they will do it on the other side as well. So once those trusses go on, it will really give definition of the scope and the scale and the size of this whole building. It'll be quite an impressive sight to be seen. Jerry and Josh have all those technical details figured out. I just kind of show up when the fun starts to happen and give y'all all a little overview on this. But everything, I mean, that's really the next thing that's going to happen, is that they'll have to come in and top off all the 6 by 6s, get those 2 by 10s put on here, and then once the 2 by 10s are on all the way around, then they can put the trusses up. So that will be, of course, a sight to see as well. Anything else that I missed to talk about? Nope. It was quite interesting to see those trusses be delivered, because they were on the back of a flatbed, and the driver was like, "Oh yeah, I can get it in there." It was a tight squeeze, I'm not gonna lie. About took out a couple of pallets of soil, but I mean, hey, it's just soil, it's okay. And it almost slipped off at the same time because it was on a bit of a slope. He was a very ambitious driver, which I appreciate that for sure, because we've had all sorts of drivers make deliveries around here. So I think that's about it on the trusses. And so we're gonna go down, finish up the fence. We've got two more the little end pieces where we have to actually shorten the rails. So we're gonna get that done, and then we'll take you on a kind of an all overview of the whole fence, because it's gonna be done. And then it's quite fun and impressive, and it just is making such a big difference out there. Jerry and I were talking, and we're like, you know, we never thought in a million years that we'd be putting up this massive berm and like a fence going down the middle of the field. But you know, life takes you in all sorts of crazy directions, and we're really liking it. Like, it looks really good. So I can't wait to show it to you. So just stay tuned for just a second, and we'll go down there. All right, folks, so the fence is now 100% completely installed. Man, that feels good to get that done. We got it done in less than a week. We started it on, gosh, what day was that? Was that Monday, Tuesday? Today's Friday. We're filming on Friday. So in less than one calendar week, we got the fence completely installed, and relatively speaking, it went very well. Could not be happier with it. Obviously, this is the entrance here down the driveway. We're not planning on putting a gate here at this juncture. If we need to, we certainly can, because both of the end posts have been concreted in, and that is what they are there for. That's what they're meant for. Let's just kind of start maybe on this corner, and then we'll work our way down towards the creek side. So here we came just straight across and continued that same line of the fence. And then we came through the woods to connect it to the existing fence and the gate that is up there. But this was probably one of the more, I would say, maybe more challenging areas, simply because, of course, we were in the woods, right? And so you're dealing with, I mean, there's like, you know, trees everywhere right here. Everybody is 11 feet apart from each other as far as the fence post, except for this corner. So this corner is where it all kind of came together. I believe this is 9 feet apart. That one is 8 feet apart. So what we had to do is we recruited my daddy, who is a woodworker, and he had a shorter chainsaw. So they were able to, you can see kind of the progression. This was the first one that they whittled down, second, third, and then worked their way up. So this was the last one that got done, and it looks very, very nice. Now, does it bother me that they're not perfect? Absolutely not. Again, that's the core memory, right? Daddy and Mama were down here. They just volunteered and dropped their stuff, came down here, helped us. This is all gonna get stained. This is like the least visible corner out of the whole entire fence. I was joking, and I was like, we're gonna put a beautiful big camellia right here. So it'll hide this, and it is no big deal. But so it is all in, and then of course it travels all the way up through to the gate. But I have always, we've been in our house, it'll be 19 years in January, and from the time we moved in, I have always wanted to develop this kind of nook as a garden, right? Like a woodland garden. And then when you put the fence in here, it really just separates and just frames in this area to be a great potential. So I have plants that we are hopefully going to get, yes, plans and plants to get in here. So I'm holding on to those, and super excited about that. Now, come over here, because you may be looking and you're like, oh my word, what is wrong with that one fence post? Like, why is it so kind of like out of kilter? Well, it's not out of kilter. We followed the lay of the land. So you can see that it went down there. We had, it might be hard to see. At some other point, maybe we can get a good shot for you. But it does follow the land. So it goes up and it goes down. And those bottom rails are 18 inches above the soil line. So that is the deal on that. So that end is done. And then of course, coming on down the main part of the berm, and that whole fence is in there as well. I do want Jerry to get me a good drone shot here in the next couple of days, and that way we can get it up so I can really start planning on exactly where plants are going to go. But here at the entrance, like, the potential is just unlimited. We have tons of options that we can really kind of dress up, and especially at the entrance into the house. Jerry has some ideas. I haven't even thought of that yet. So he has some dreams going on in his brain. So we'll kind of talk about those and develop those as the weeks go on. But super excited about this. As it goes down, we told you that the front side of the berm has more curvature to it. And yes, because somebody had asked, would we use the grass as like parking for customers? We certainly can. That could be like an overflow parking. We've never had to use this field. We've always done the other one. But certainly come spring, if we need to use this, we can absolutely do that. And then they can just pull up and see all this beautiful landscaping that is going to be here. We are going to have irrigation. We are going to stain. Jerry's going to, I was just ready to, like, you know, hand paint it. And Jerry's like, no, we're going to get the sprayer. It'll go so much faster and spray it. So do that, like kind of like a chalkboard black color. But in here, I mean, massive room that we can put plants. You know, I've already shared with you the trees that we're going to put in here. I've got a running list of shrubs. I met with Kata this week to talk about different perennials that are going to go in here. But it's really about 4 seasons of interest and always having something interesting and going on in here. Now, we've had quite a few little comments about, you know, well, gosh, that's not much of a berm, or y'all didn't raise that up at all. Well, yeah, we did. If you will remember, we had 6 quad axle trucks of the soil, the screen soil brought in. So 6 of those. Then I don't even know how many dump truck loads that Jerry brought of this great, beautiful compost blend that he then went in and kind of tilled in. Obviously, it's been messed up since we were doing with the fence, but so where Jerry is, and then here I am standing up here. When we were drilling these post holes, the post rather, we went down 3 feet before we hit native soil. So yes, it is raised up. Berms come in all shapes and sizes. There's not an exact, you know, height requirement for a berm. So this definitely in our book is a berm. Now, is it a 20-foot berm? No, it's not. We told y'all that from the very beginning. So this is definitely a raised area. We're calling it a berm. Very happy with that. Fence is going down, and on this side, yes, the line pretty much is very straight, and we did that on purpose because we can see in the probably in the very near future extending these gardens out, because we just have unlimited potential out here in this field. So if we want to bring the gardens out or add to it, or, you know, change up the final little layout on the outline on that side, great, and we can put other stuff in here. We just have tons of potential, tons of room to grow down in here. Then once we got down here to the creek, we did, and we knew all the time that we were going to do this, is we have a nice big wide opening. I think this was 15 or 16 feet. I don't remember the exact measurement. We will have a gate here. This will be like a farm gate. That way this will be closed. And then whenever we need to get equipment through here, the bobcat, tractor, trucks, we can open it up. And then you'll notice that we did have to put this post out of the bed a little bit just because of positioning everybody. That's no big deal. So what we're going to plan on doing is just kind of extend this bed line so that it looks a little bit more natural. So this will actually be within the bed. So we'll do that probably come springtime when we're ready for that. And then we just did one panel here. So this again is that 11-foot panel. We have the Carolina Sapphire on one side, and then the Popcorn by Burnham's. They start on the other side. Because really on the back side from where I'm standing, what the customers will see, that's where we have our annual display beds. So that will just be decked out to the nines in all the gorgeous seasonal color. And then on this side, it's more of the shrubs. This is where I planted my 200 jonquil bulbs last week. So this is going to be really pretty right through here. But we couldn't be more happy with, you know, how everything turned out. We weren't really sure if we were going to like having a fence basically kind of in our front yard, because this view has been completely open ever since, I mean, we've been here for almost 19 years, and we just weren't sure how we were going to feel about having a fence. But I tell you, we all really enjoy it. It just brings such structure to this space. It defines the spaces more, which is what I've always wanted. We built our house in the middle of a field. My daddy was a farmer, and so he farmed this land. So any of the trees or anything that you see within the confines of our yard, we have put there. So when you have big, huge, wide open spaces, that can sometimes be very daunting because there's not defined boundaries. So I'm loving that we are coming in here and putting defined boundaries in here. So what's next on the list for this is we will get this stained. We will go ahead and lay the main bones of the irrigation in these beds and then get those trees in the ground. I am itching to get those trees out of their pots and into the ground, because they will be much, much happier out of the pots and into the ground, and then that'll really like solidify this whole project. But here we are, the project continues, lots of fun. Praise the Lord, we're having great weather, and we're not doing this in, like, you know, July and August and absolutely dying. We still work today in sweaters and jeans. I had a down coat on earlier because it was in the 30s this morning. Tonight's gonna get down to 34. So loving this fall weather here in North Carolina. As always, thanks so much for growing with Creekside. Y'all have a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.